Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, MBs. Welcome to the Friday Final Fantasy, the Triple F, as we would call it. Although I'm actually considering moving away from Fridays in the coming weeks, if not fairly soon. But that's a discussion for a different time. So, where did we leave off last time? Well, if I recall correctly, I think that, we got the black materia, and then we lost the black materia. Oops. World's worst case of Butterfingers. So, we now have to go and find Eris, who has fled the party to a place called the City of the Ancients. And we've not been too far from there in the past, actually. I visited the location closest to it, the Bone Village, on a previous stream in order to get the Kujata materia. So we're going to just head back there now. Off screen, again, not to bore you all to death, I have actually done all of the necessary material rework for the characters. So we're going to have, for this particular session, Tifa and Barrett in the party. So yeah, we're just going to make our way over there now. This will probably actually be a fairly short stream in all, because from what I understand when I was reading through the guide earlier, yeah, there's a pretty intense and pivotal moment coming up, as you're doubtless aware if you've played this game. But other than that, the actual lead-up to that doesn't take very long. We'll also be doing some digging as well, so that'll be fun. Just take a tiny Bronco around the edge of the world. Hope you're all doing alright, by the way. Very happy Friday to everyone who's listening, or if you happen to listen to this on a different weekday, then happy whatever weekday you might be listening to this on. It'll be on archive, it'll be on VOD later, all that good stuff. As for me, driving with one hand, a tiny Bronco, having a beer, don't drink while driving, that usual stuff. Alright, we're almost there. Bit of a roundabout way to get there. But when we had that airship, that'd be great, wouldn't it? We'd just fly everywhere. We don't need to worry about this, damaged cockpit, this damaged plane here. Alright. I'm actually not putting staff here. You're meant to normally. But I already know where some of the items are that I want to dig for specifically. So I'm just going to skip doing all that unnecessary nonsense. What they would typically do is you put staff members in there for paying them for 100 gil. They would all look in a direction, but the chances of them looking at the direction of a specific item are random. So it's a bit silly. Let's look again for this. There we go. So we're after an item specifically called the Lunar Harp, which will allow us to progress through the forest. I visited there before to get the Kujata materia, but I couldn't actually go any further. But we got a potion. Okay, let's try that again. That's already jumping a little bit ahead here. Oop. Yeah, it is very tedious. Which is why I am cheating through it, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you all to death with me running around in circles doing this nonsense. I was just slightly off of where I thought the item was, which is specifically the Lunar Harp. Okay, did we get it? There we go. Alright. There are some other items we want to pick up while we're here as well, so I'm going to do those now. That option is just to decide where you want them to look when you place the staff. It actually doesn't matter if you know exactly where the items are. I like to imagine, by the way, that fighter jet was destroyed in a fight with that that T-Rex. I know it can't possibly be true, but that's what I like to believe. Okay. There we go. It's been awkward. There we go. Go away for the prompt to go. I was being impatient. Right, what did we get? Potion. Okay. This is the point where I will cheat. I do apologise. The stream might freeze for a moment. But I have planned ahead for this. Okay, about here should do. Wait for the prompts to go away. So we're going to actually make 2 trips to this particular place throughout the course of this run. This will be the first one. The second one will be to pick up an item we can't actually get here right now, but we'll be able to get later on. Get this prompt to go away. Thank you very much. There we go. Right, I hope that does it. This spot is quite specific, annoyingly enough. There we go. Alright, so we got 1 more item. Now, there are 2 more that we want to pick up while we're here. Okay, there we go. That should about do it. In fact, bring it just down a little bit here. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, I do apologise. I am absolutely cheating through this, but I don't want to spend hours trying to show this and wasting your time, because we're here for, stream-wise, to watch something else, of course. There we go. So we got a mop. We got a mop, which is great. How can you go wrong with that? And there's one final thing. Okay. Right. This should give us the final item that we want. There we go, Mega Elixir. Okay, we have everything we need. Let's be on our way. Just going to switch back to the stream so everyone can see what's going on. And also to OBS. There we are. Alright, thank you very much for your patience for that, folks. So before we go anywhere else, let's see what items we actually picked up. So I don't need to tell you about the Lunar Heart. We have a mine source. I completely forgot about that. So the mop is a weapon for Sid, and it's exactly what you think it is. The bunt line is a weapon for Vincent, and the Mega Elixir is a full restore on MP and health for all party members. So, simple enough. Right, well with that in mind, let's get on our way through the Sleeping Forest. We've got the Lunar Heart, we should be able to progress onwards. Oh, someone's, changing the colour spectrum. Running it through a Photoshop filter. So yeah, I already picked up the Kujata materia previously, so that's why it's not bouncing around the screen right now. But if I'm not mistaken, my eyes deceive me. Now, for some reason there's a weird, I don't know if you can see it, there's a weird purple pixel there, and I thought that was an item, but it's not. Alright, so we made it through. Also, Barrett now has a chainsaw. Because of course he does. Ooh, nice. So if I hadn't mentioned it previously, like, Barrett can have melee weapons. His preferred weapons are, of course, range ones. But he can attack in melee as well. Also, we got the water ring, which is a vital item for an upcoming boss fight that we've got. In fact, I'll let Barrett do this one. Yeah, apologies to headphone users, that's pretty dreadful. Wow, that didn't actually even slow them down. Okay, fair enough then. Oh, he got that off as a counter-attack, fair enough. Nice. So we've got M barrier now as well. Somewhat redundant with the fact that we've got big guard, but it's neither here nor there. It's nice to have. Plus, it means we can pick up reflex later as well. So yeah, we can see a city and paths in the distance in this dried out seabed, basically. And we've got this thing, whatever the hell it is. Tiny Tifa. But he's dead anyway, so it's all good. Alright, brief moment on the world map, so we'll save while we're here. Attention be necessary right now. Let's pause this giant mushroom. Now, this theme, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, me and Doc have mentioned it on the pod before, it's one of my favourite pieces of music from this entire track. Sorry, from this entire game, I mean to say. It's just that good. Alright, so let's pop into this little shell house here. Guard source, very nice. There we go. I'm gonna give that to Tifa. So yeah, this is the City of the Ancients. I could make jokes about it being a post-apocalyptic Bikini Bottom, which I suppose I technically just have. But, like, the fact that it's all still here, all the roads, everything that's been laid out, the shells and such, like, it's eerie as fuck. It really works for it. And this music in particular works really well also. Barrett, like, these beds are probably thousands of years old. Like, I imagine him sitting on it just completely collapses. Not because he's, like, heavy or anything necessarily, just because, you know, they're probably rotted. The person we've been following all this time? Impossible. So yeah, by the way, look at this. You might be able to see it. Very small amount of yellow pixels. Secret enemy skill materia. Give me that. But yeah, the very first time that you met Eris, I should note, this particular theme was playing, if I recall correctly. And now it's playing again. Also, it seems like night has fallen. It's gone a little bit darker. So that's Cloud saying, nope, we're going the wrong way. Nope, can't go over here. We'll have to circle back round. So I suppose while we're running, I'll just quickly talk... Oh wait, never mind. I spoke too soon. It's worth remembering, like, that, okay, Eris is now kind of like, you know, or if you want to call that, like, has kind of come to terms with what she needs to do in order to save the planet. But I actually kind of like that transition, not because I think that it was a bad thing that she was the way she was before, but rather, I think that, you know, especially what happens in the Temple of the Ancients, like, it came to that point where the transition felt natural. And she's still, like, you know, the spunky, sassy girl we've always known her to be. This location, by the way, features in Advent Children, I will mention. The cursed film, you know. It's not Final Fantasy Spirits Within, thankfully, but I felt I should mention it. Anyways, the green materia up here. Comet materia, alright. By the way, you might know that I've already given Barret the Leviathan and Elemental materia, and that is in preparation for the coming boss fight. I also gave him the Destructs and added effect materia, so that way he could instantly kill people with his, you know, Evil Dead chainsaw arm. But anyway. So Poison's properly level. Let's have a look at Comet. We'll give him the Comet materia. Why not? It's not quite Meteor, it's Meteor Light, you know, it's the Pepsi Max of, like, you know, the black materia, but it's a thing. And now we're going through the Video Girl Eye level here, you know, the glass stairs. Very pretty though, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, oh, never mind. I jumped the gun there a little bit. So I think, if I'm not mistaken... Oh, there she is. We can see her. Try to figure out how to get around here. Nope. 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 Well, this is mildly embarrassing. Ah, there we go. Alright. A 10 should be necessary here, but there is one thing we do need to do before we get this fight underway. So yeah, before we actually do this fight, spoilers for ahead of time, you can already figured it out, because I don't really want to talk too much with everything that's about to happen, but the fight that we're about to do does, like, you know, involve a lot of water elemental damage and a lot of deadly water elemental damage at that. So, obviously get the water ring, but I'm thinking of it from a game design perspective. How would you know to equip that? And that's the reason the save point is here, actually, as it turns out, because I think the intent from the designer's perspective was that, you know, you'd probably get owned by the coming boss fight if you were under-leveled for it and such, or you didn't have the necessary enemy skills. And then you'd go back to this save point and think, what can I do differently? Okay, this spell looks like it does water damage. I have a water ring. I'll give it to one of my party members. So I'm just knowing that as an observation, because I don't know if that necessarily fly in modern game design, because it seems very based on just you having the necessary kit for it. Anyway, here we go. Hey Iris, good to see you. How are you doing? Oh. Oh dear. Cloud? Yo, Cloud, like, put that away. It's not onion chopping time. Put it away. Dude. I like, by the way, how this keeps you in control of him, so it actually kind of gels with the idea that he's kind of half possessed here, but by you rather than obviously Sephiroth or Genova. So you have to press this, you know, the use button on Eris. And again, bring up the sword. No, Cloud, don't do it. I don't want you to do this. So that's a nice bit of like game design gelling with the moment, actually. You're forced to press the button in order to make that happen. Again, suggesting that he's not in control of himself. yeah, that's the end of part 1. The end of this one, as it were. Whew, there's a lot to talk about that, but I'll get to that in a moment once we hit a save point. I will mention, by the way, that, like, again, low poly as these models are, you saw that in the scenes that just happened, and also what you see here, like, they tried to really make them emote and, like, you know, gesticulate. There's a lot of craft in this game that I think goes unappreciated like that. I mean, it's like what I said in the early Midgar sections. I mean, Cloud's got, like, you know, he looks like he's made out of blocks of, like, you know, triangular cheese, basically, as far as his polygon count goes. But they put a lot of effort into, like, you know, showing off gestures and emotion for it. Definite credit there. Yep. Okay, there won't be any more of the game tonight. I'm going to leave and then come back, because obviously you've got to end on that moment if you're streaming this in segments, in my opinion. But there's stuff I want to talk about before I call it a day. The first of which is just to answer a Go-Go Type Robot's point, like, how poetic is it for Cloud just to completely wreck Jenova's shit in a single lit? I was legitimately not expecting Meteor Rain to kill her in one go. Kind of crazy. But as for the boss fight itself, yeah, Aqualung, the skill that we've been using a lot throughout the run, now gets turned on us. And you saw how much damage it did to Cloud, who was the only one who was not protected against it. And that's why the Leviathan materia is really helpful. Because if you junction it with an elemental, it'll take it down to half, or in Barrett's case, to 0. And Tifa had the Water Ring, the item I mentioned before, which made her completely immune to that attack. And as it turns out, Genova Life, that boss, all of her attacks are water-based. So if you equip the Water Ring on a single character, you cannot lose. Short of, like, you know, your console or computer exploding, you're good at that point. You can't die. It's impossible. But if you don't put that on, you will get wrecks. It does a ton of damage. Like, that's why I left Cloud without any defense against that, because he still had the most health by far. So, the other things I want to talk about, I have mentioned in our Discord, like, the idea of, you know, joking about, like, the disconnect between gameplay and story, because we have more than enough items in our party to, in theory, of like, oh, just throw a Phoenix down, or it's fine, it's fine. And here's the thing, right? I can give 2 answers to that. The first of which is some in-universe justification for why you can't revive Aeris. Like, oh, Sephiroth's sword is so deadly, anyone it kills is permanently dead. But I think that, like, if you start getting into that kind of, like, you know, game of, like, you know, lore tennis, where you're so concerned with the nitty-gritty details, like, just let the emotion wash over you about the moment. Like, that's the intent behind it. I mean, if you want to be nitpicky, neither Cloud nor Barrett nor Tifa in that cutscene when Sephiroth stabs her, and also Sephiroth somehow inexplicably gains and loses gloves between shots. Like, you know, we could argue, like, about the nitty-gritty problems of that scene all we want, but the intent's clear, and the intent is effective, in my opinion. I mean, heck, I will be the big man here and admit that when I played as a kid, I did cry when that happened. I feel a little choked up now. I won't, you know, deny that. I want to give kudos, by the way, to the fact that they allow the music to play through. They don't switch to the regular boss theme, or even the Genova boss theme, for that matter. They allow the emotion to continue flowing through after that point, and I think that's, like, a really wise choice on the creator's part. The reason I brought Barrett and Tifa with me for this particular one, by the way, is because they're the ones who've known Aeris the longest, and I had never actually seen Barrett's, like, specific scene with that, you know, where he put his arm on Cloud's shoulder. I had seen Tifa's before. So yeah, that was some nice stuff there. I don't really have much else to say. Like, I think it's effective. I think it works. I think that, you know, the imagery really sells, like, this kind of, like, hope dying out but also the conviction that you get afterwards from Cloud that he really wants to find. As I mentioned at that moment that I'd forgotten about, like, you have to control Cloud to actually try and kill her, which I think, I don't know if that was intentional, but I think that's actually kind of genius of how it gets almost meta in that something else is controlling Cloud, i.e. you, the player. And I'll lastly mention, there is a line of text after you beat Genova Life where Genova specifically is mentioned as the person calling Cloud a puppet. And that's a fact I want you to keep in your mind as we get towards the next sections of the game when we learn more about what exactly has happened to Sephiroth and who Genova is. Because after all, if we've just destroyed Genova Life, killed her completely, how is she telling Cloud that he's a puppet? Just food for thought is all. But yeah, that's it. We've done it. I'm going to resave because I'm paranoid. And now we're back in the City of the Ancients. But anyway, I agree with you entirely, Go-Go Type Robot. They are of the exact same cut, those people. And sometimes you just gotta, like, you know, turn your brain off a little bit and enjoy it, like, for what it is. You know, I think the moment's pretty powerful. Like, I think it works really, really well. But anyway, I'm going to leave the stream there for the evening. It is a short one today, but I felt it was appropriate that we leave at this point. I will mention, by the way, like, I haven't played the remake, but when the remake part 2 comes out, where it goes open world, in my opinion, I think that the second part of the remake should end after this moment, when Cloud lets Aeris' body, like, you know, float away in the water. I think that would be a perfect point to cut the second part of the remake off. Now, there are scenes that are going to follow after this that will give more history on, more insight into Aeris' history. But I still think that would work really, really well for selling the emotion out there. Like, you know, you beat Genova Life as the final boss of Remake Part 2, and you go to credits, wait X amount of months or years until it's out. I honestly, Grumpy Cloud, I cannot see, like, you know, I cannot see how they're not going to replicate this bit. It's iconic. There's no way they're not going to do it, in my opinion. They'll probably do, like, a bit more with, like, involving the other characters in certain ways, but otherwise, I'd do it beat for beat, really. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, thank you very much, everyone who's joined me this evening. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your Friday. Rest in peace, Aeris. You will return in, you know, what flashbacks, premonitions, spiritual encounters in Advent Children, and maybe possibly even in this game a little bit, who can say. We'll get to that later, but for now, thank you very much everyone again. I hope you all have a great evening, a great weekend. Take care, stay safe, look after yourselves, and thanks so much for watching. Good night.